Scania AB, formerly AB Scania-Vabis, is a major Swedish automotive industry manufacturer of commercial vehicles, specifically heavy trucks and buses. It also manufactures diesel engines for motive power of heavy vehicles, marine, and general industrial applications. Founded in 1891 in Södertälje as Vabis, and in 1900 as Maskinfabriks-aktiebolaget Scania in Malmö in the Swedish province of Scania, merging in 1911. The company's head office has been in Södertälje, in Stockholm County since 1912. Today, Scania has production facilities in Sweden, France, Netherlands, India, Argentina, Brazil, Poland, and Russia. In addition, there are assembly plants in 10 countries in Africa, Asia and Europe. Scania's sales and service organization and finance companies are worldwide. In 2012, the company employed approximately 42,100 people around the world. Scania was listed on the Nasdaq OMX Stockholm Stock Exchange from 1996 to 2014. Scania's logo shows a griffin from the coat of arms of the province of Scania. History: Vabis and Maskinfabriks-aktiebolaget Scania AB Scania-Vabis was established in 1911 as the result of a merger between Södertälje-based Vabis and Malmö-based Maskinfabriks-aktiebolaget Scania. Vabis was established as a railway car manufacturer in 1891, while Maskinfabriks-aktiebolaget Scania was established as a bicycle manufacturer in 1900. Both companies had tried the luck at building automobiles, trucks and engines, but with varied success. In 1910, Maskinfabriks-aktiebolaget Scania had succeeded in constructing reliable vehicles, while Vabis was at the brink of closing down. An offer from Per Alfred Nordeman, managing director of Maskinfabriks-aktiebolaget Scania, to steel manufacturer Sura Hammarsbruck, owner of Vabis, led to an agreement in November 1910, and in 1911 the merger was a reality. Development and production of engines and light vehicles were set to Södertälje, while trucks were manufactured in Malmö. The company's logo was redesigned from Maskinfabriks-aktiebolaget Scania's original logo with the head of a griffin. The coat of arms of the Swedish region Scania centered on a 3-spoke bicycle chainset. Initially the headquarters were located in Malmö, but in 1912 they were moved to Södertälje. First World War and 1920s. Because there were many inexpensive imported cars in Sweden at the time, Scania Vabis decided to build high-class, luxury cars. For instance, the Type 3 limousine from 1920 that had a top hat holder in the roof. Prince Carl of Sweden owned a 1913 Scania Vabis 3S, a type which was fitted with in-car buttons so the passenger could communicate with the driver. Scania Vabis also built 2-seat sports cars. For the next few years the company's profits stagnated, with around a third of their orders coming from abroad. The outbreak of the First World War, however, changed the company, with almost all output being diverted to the Swedish Army. By 1916, Scania Vabis was making enough profit to invest in redeveloping both of the production facilities. Following the war, in 1919, Scania decided to focus completely on building trucks, abandoning other outputs including cars and buses. However, they were hurt by the swamping of the market with decommissioned military vehicles from the war, and by 1921 the company was bankrupt. After some economic difficulties in 1921, new capital came from Stockholm's Enskilda Bank owned by the Wallenberg family, and Scania Vabis became a solid and technically high-standing company. Denmark. Towards the end of 1913, the company established a subsidiary in Denmark. The following year, the first Danish-built car, a four-seater Phaeton, was built at the company's Frederiksberg factory in Copenhagen. In 1914, the factory produced Denmark's first Scania-Vabis truck, and following this developed a V8 engine, one of the first in the world. In 1921, having sold around 175 trucks and 75 cars, the Danish operation was closed down. Norway. In 1917, an agreement was established with the newly formed Norwegian company Norsk Automobilfabrik A/S about production under license of Scania-Vabis cars and lorries. Production began in 1919, but was ended in 1921 after production of only 77 lorries, mostly built from Swedish-produced parts. 1930s and 1940s. During the Second World War, Scania produced a variety of military vehicles for the Swedish Army, including Stridsvagn M41 light tanks produced under license. 1950s and 1960s. During the 1950s, the company expanded its operations into new customer segments, becoming agents for the Willys Jeep and the Volkswagen Beetle, the latter being very profitable for Scania-Vabis. It also started to become a genuine competitor to Volvo with the new L71 Regent truck, which was introduced in 1954. During this period, Scania-Vabis expanded its dealer network and country-wide specialist workshop facilities. By the end of the 1950s, the market share in Sweden was between 40 and 50%, and was achieving 70% in the heaviest truck sector, helped by the entrepreneurial efforts of their dealers into the haulier market. Probably the largest impact was in export markets. Before 1950, exports accounted for only 10% of production output, but a decade later, exports were now at 50% of output. Beers in the Netherlands became a very important partner. Beers became official importers for Scania-Vabis in the Netherlands, and established a dealer network, along with training programs for both mechanics and drivers. Beers also offered free twice-yearly overhauls of the customers' vehicles, and offered a mobile service throughout the Netherlands with the custom-equipped service trucks. Due to Beers' concerted efforts, Scania-Vabis' market share in the country remained at a consistent 20% throughout this period. Scania-Vabis were to adopt the business model of Beers in their own overseas sales operations. The 1960s saw Scania-Vabis expanding its production operations into overseas locations. Until now, all Scania-Vabis production had been carried out solely at Södertälje, but the 1960s saw the need to expand production overseas. Brazil was becoming a notable market for heavy trucks, and was also dependent on interurban buses, with particular requirement for Brazil's mountainous roads, which became nigh on impassable at times. On the 2nd of July 1957, Brazilian subsidiary Scania-Vabis de Brazil S.A. was established and started assembling some vehicles themselves in 1958. On the 29th of May 1959, a new engine plant was inaugurated in the Ipiranga district of São Paulo, and from June 1960, Scania-Vabis de Brazil assembled all vehicles themselves. Scania-Vabis vehicles had already been assembled in Brazil by a local company called Vemag for several years. Scania-Vabis established its first full manufacturing plant outside Södertälje by building a new facility in São Bernardo de Campo near São Paulo, which was opened on the 8th of December 1962, and this was to set the standard for Scania-Vabis' international international operations. Closer to home, a recently formed European Economic Community offered further opportunities. Based on the now strong presence in the Dutch markets, Scania-Vabis constructed a new plant in Zwolle, which was completed in 1964. This new Dutch facility provided Scania-Vabis with a stepping stone into the other 5 EEC countries, particularly the German and French markets. In 1966, Scania-Vabis acquired ownership of then valuable supplier BGE Carrosserie-Fabrik, who were based in Oskarshamn. BGE had been making truck cabs since 1946, and had been supplying cabs not only to Scania-Vabis but also to the Swedish competitors Volvo. It was normal practice for truck manufacturers to outsource production of cabs to independent bodybuilders, so their acquisition by Scania-Vabis seemed a good move. BGE owner Bror Godtpersson had also established an additional cab factory at Meppel. Scania-Vabis continued their expansion of production facilities through acquisitions. In 1967, they acquired Katrine home-based coachwork company Svenska Carrosserieverkstad Erna and created a new subsidiary, Scania Bussar. A year later, all bus production, along with R&D, was moved to Katrineholm. Further production locations were added at Sibbhult and Falun, and Scania's employee numbers rose, particularly at Södertälje, which was to help double the town's population. Scania-Vabis at some point in the history also manufactured trucks in Argentina, Botswana, Brazil, South Korea, Tanzania, the Netherlands, Zimbabwe and the United States. For some time Daimler-Benz waged a logo war with Scania-Vabis, claiming a possible confusion between the Scania-Vabis pedal crank design featuring on Scania bicycles around 1900 and the Mercedes three-pointed star. In 1968, Daimler-Benz won and the Scania-Vabis logo changed to a simple griffin's head on a white background. In February 1968, a new range of trucks was launched, and at the same time the company was rebranded as just Scania. In addition to Vabis disappearing from the name and a new logo, all current models received new model designations. In mid-1985, Scania entered the US market for the first time, starting modestly with a goal of 200 trucks in all of 1987. Scania limited the marketing to the Northeast, where conditions are closer to those in Europe. Many examples of Scania-Vabis and Scania-Vabis commercial and military vehicles can be seen at the Marquis Wallenberg-Hallen in Södertälje. Ownership: Saab Scania AB. On 1 September 1969, Scania merged with Saab AB, and formed Saab Scania AB. When Saab Scania was split in 1995, the name of the truck and bus division changed simply to Scania AB. 1 year later, Scania AB was introduced on the stock exchange, which resulted in a minor change of name to Scania AB. Aborted Volvo takeover. On 7 August 1999, Volvo announced it had agreed to acquire a majority share in Scania. Volvo was to buy the 49.3% stake in Scania that was owned by investor AB, Scania's then main shareholder. The acquisition, for $7.5 billion, would have created the world's second largest manufacturer of heavy trucks, behind Daimler Chrysler. The cash for the deal came from Volvo selling its car division to Ford Motor Company in January 1999. But the deal had yet to be approved by the European Union. The deal eventually failed, after the European Union had disapproved of the affair, saying it would create a company with almost 100% market share in the Nordic markets. aborted MAN takeover. In September 2006, the German truck maker MAN AG launched a €10.3 billion hostile offer to acquire Scania AB. Scania CEO Lee Fostling was forced to apologize for comparing the bid of MAN to a blitzkrieg. MAN AG later dropped its hostile offer, but in January 2008 MAN increased the voting rights in Scania up to 17%. Scania ownership today. The two major stockholders of Scania AB are the German automotive company Volkswagen AG is Scania's biggest shareholder, with a 70.94% voting stake in Scania. It gained this by first buying Volvo's stake in 2000, after the latter's aborted takeover attempt, increasing it to 36.4% in the first quarter 2007, and then buying the remainder from Investor AB in March 2008. The deal was approved by regulatory bodies in July 2008. Scania then became the ninth marque in the Volkswagen Group. The German truck manufacturer MAN holds a 17.37% voting stake in Scania. Notably, Volkswagen AG also owns 75.03% of MAN. In December 2015, VW took 9.6 billion Swedish kronor out of Scania. Media estimated that the move was caused by the losses in the Volkswagen emissions scandal. Current shareholders: Scania AB has a total issue of 400 million A shares and 400 million B shares, with a total capitalized value of 72,880 million Swedish krona. In terms of voting rights, 1 A share is eligible for 1 vote, whereas 10 B shares are required for 1 vote. As of the 29th of January 2010, these shares, as published by Swedish Central Securities Depository and Clearing Organization, are allocated to 119,973 owners, and the table below details the top 10 shareholders. Further to the shares listed above, Volkswagen AG also holds shares in trust by a credit institution of Scania, which gives additional voting rights amounting to 0.87% and an equity interest of 3.63% attributable to Volkswagen AG, as disclosed in January 2009. Trucks and special vehicles. Scania develops, manufactures and sells trucks with a gross vehicle weight rating of more than 16 tons, intended for long-distance haulage, regional and local distribution of goods, as well as construction haulage. The 1963 forward control LB76 forged Scania-Vabis' reputation outside Sweden, being one of the first exhaustively crash-tested truck cabs. All current trucks from Scania are part of the PRT range, but are marketed as different series based on the general cab height. P-Series, launched in August 2004. Typical applications are regional and local distribution, construction, and various specialized operations associated with locally based transportation and services. P-Series trucks have the new P-cabs, which are available in several variations: a single-berth sleeper, a spacious day cab, a short cab and a crew cab. G-Series, launched in September 2007. The series offer an enlarged range of options for operators engaged in national long-haul and virtually all types of construction applications. All models have a G-cab, and each is available as a tractor rigid. The G-Series truck comes with 5 cab variants, 3 sleepers, a day cab and a short cab. There are different axle configurations, and in most cases a choice of chassis height and suspension. R-Series, launched in March 2004, and won the prestigious International Truck of the Year award in 2005 and again in 2010. The range offers various trucks optimized for long haulage. All models have a Scania R-cab, and each vehicle is available as a tractor rigid. There are different axle configurations and a choice of chassis height and suspension. The Scania R730 is the most powerful variant of the R-series. Its 16.4-liter EDC16 turbo diesel V8 engine produces 730 PS at 1,900 revolutions per minute and 3,500 Nm of torque at 1,000 to 1,350 revolutions per minute. S-Series, launched in August 2016. It is the highest cab Scania has ever built. It features a completely flat floor and a low bed that is extendable up to 100 centimeters.